when we come into the mobile test automation, it is unpractical to connect mobile device physically to the whatever the local machine and run or execute the test cases. So that we have to go with a device farm. So today we will go with the browser stack, and then we will see how to locate mobile elements and how to write basic test case using WebdriverIO. IO. And after that we will see how we can customize our basic test framework and how to work with or how to create test cases in that framework. After that we will see the report integration. For that we are using allo report, and next we will see how we can do the GUI testing with apply tools with the support of WebdriverIO IO and browser stack. Finally, we will come to the pros and cons of the WebdriverIO IO. Right, so what is WebdriverIO IO? So I will use this WDIO term to instead of the WebdriverIO IO. So WebdriverIO or WDIO is a next generation browser and mobile test automation framework which runs on Node.js application. So it is extendable. That means we can create customizable framework using the WDIO, and it is compatible. That means, as I just explained, this is web browser and mobile test automation framework. We can automate both of those areas. So, and also again, this is a feature rich one because we can plug and play, or we can install the dependencies which are available in the market or the community freely, and we can use it as an open source tool. Right, so that is it about the WebdriverIO actually. Now we will see how it is working. So basically in my left hand side, I have my local machine or the laptop. So I need to install whatever the client libraries, or if it is jar files, I need to set up those in my local machine. And also I need to install the Appium standalone application or Appium standalone server, so that once I connect my mobile device to the laptop, we can execute the command through the JSON protocol, and that command will come to the standalone Appium server, and that commands will push to the UI automator framework, and using that framework, it will call to the or it will execute the bootstrap file and execute whatever the test cases in your mobile device. And once the execution is complete, the response will send back to the standalone Appium server. And once the standalone Appium server got the response, it will reply to our local machine or the laptop. So that is the basic flow of the execution. So here UI automator is using in the Android mobile device, and UI automation framework is using in the iOS device. And bootstrap JS files are available in the iOS device, and bootstrap.jar files are available in Android device. Right, now let's see how we can set up our local environment. So first of all, you need to install Java JDK latest version, and after that we need to install Node.js latest version. And as the IDE, we are using VS Code, so you need to install that as one. And after that you need to install Appium desktop application. Again, that should be the latest version. Right. After that, there are a couple of WebdriverIO dependencies to be installed in our local device. So in this session, we are focusing on the Android device because there are a couple of more than this configuration, we need to install a few more configuration for the iOS platform. So it will take some time. So due to the time limitation, we are only focusing on the Android device. Anyway, those iOS configurations are also included in the slide or the presentation. Once we share this with you guys can try it out from yourself. Right, so now let's see how we can install these dependencies. First of all, open up your VS Code and go to the file and click on open folder. From whatever the location, you can create a folder. I will create the folder called demo and go inside the demo folder. And guys, here make sure that in your path, make sure the folders doesn't contain any space. Like you shouldn't create name like this. Here you can see the space in between these two words. So if you create those kind of folders, then you won't be able to execute the code. Right, so once you go inside the demo folder, just click on this select folder button. Right, and then you can open up your terminal in VS Code. Right. So now you can see my current working directory is inside my demo folder, and here also under your demo folder you cannot see any files or folders. Now we are going to initialize our first WDIO project. Since this is a node module, I need to initialize npm as the initial step. To do that, type npm init and press enter. So it will ask some configuration for the package.json file. So you can go ahead with the default configuration. After creation the file, you can modify those if you need. So I'm just keep pressing the enter button, and this is the content of the file, package.json file, and it will ask the confirmation. Just press the enter button and package.json file is created for you. Right, so now you need to install these dependencies. So the first dependency is for install the WebdriverIO as your dev dependency. Just copy and paste the command. So the command is npm install WebdriverIO space minus minus save minus dev. So this minus minus save minus dev is for represent you need to add this dependency as your dev dependency. Like here you can see that dev dependency is added. Right, and after that you need to install WebdriverIO CLI. With this dependency you can execute the WDIO commands in CLI mode. And then you need to install the dependency for Appium on npm. Right, now you can see the dependencies are getting updated, and install the Appium also as a dev dependency. After that you need to install Assert dependency to do the verification of your test case. With this Assert dependency you can match with your expected value with the actual value. Right, and you can see there are a couple of warning messages. Just ignore those. Those won't be a problem for your installation. But here you can see there are 160 vulnerabilities. To fix them, type npm audit fix and press enter. Then these vulnerabilities will automatically fixed, and then we can install the Assert dependency also. Right, now we can install the Assert dependency. You can see here under the dev dependency, all the installed dependencies are available for me now. Right, there are also a few vulnerabilities, so I'll fix it. Right, so the final configuration, I need to create my wdio.config file. To create that config file, I can use this command. Right, so now I'm going to create my wdio.config file. Type npx, not npm, npx wdio config. So it will ask few questions to create your config file. Right, so the first question is, where is your automation backend located? I'm giving as my local machine. You can select the options by clicking on the up and down arrow keys and select the local machine and press enter. Then it will ask which framework you want to use. I'm going to use Mocha. Press enter. Do you want to run the WebdriverIO IO command synchronous or asynchronous? So I hope you know the synchronous and asynchronous behaviors of JavaScript based application. So I'm going with synchronous behavior. And then it will ask where your test spec located. Just give the default location. Press enter. And here you want to WebdriverIO to generate some test file. Here I don't need a sample test file, so give n and press enter. And are you using a compiler? I don't need a compiler at this moment. And which reporter do you want to use? Here the spec is by default selected. To unselect it, press spacebar, then it will get unselect, and go to the allow report using the down arrow key and press spacebar again. Then you can see the asterisk sign, that means it is selected, and press enter. Now do you want to add a service to your test step? So by default Chrome driver is selected. Deselect it using the spacebar and go to PM and select it using the spacebar and press enter. Then what is the base URL? I'm giving the localhost as the base URL for now. So after creating this file, I can customize this configuration according to my requirement. So let's create the configuration file with this configuration. Right, there are a couple of vulnerabilities, so let's fix them. And now you can see that there are a couple of new dependencies added as a dev dependencies. Right, cool. Now we are done with our dependency installation. So get back to the slides. So these are the configuration you need to do for the iOS device. You can see that there are more steps and that will take more time to execute, so that we won't cover that part, but you guys can run this script if you guys are using iOS. Right, then we will see how to start our Appium desktop application. Right, to do that, go to your start menu and click on this Appium, which is installed in your beginning, at your beginning. And once you launch that run, it will show this kind of pop-up. Here you can see the host as 0000 and port as 4723. So go with default host and port, press start server. Then the server is now up and running. Now what you need to do is you need to connect to a physical device. To do that, I'm going to click on this magnifier icon here, and it will show up another window where I can give some desired capabilities of my mobile device. Right, so these are the desired capabilities of my mobile device. Platform name as a text. My platform name is Android, so my device is Android, and the platform version is version 10, Android version 10. And as the device name, we need to find our connected device. To get the device name, go to the command line, command prompt, and type adb devices, press enter. Here now you cannot see any devices are listed, so to get them listed here, what you need to do is you need to enable debug mode on your mobile device. So I will mirror my mobile device now through the TeamViewer. I have installed the TeamViewer in my mobile device as well, and this is my partner ID, which is the instance ID of the mobile device. Press connect. And you can see the mirror image of my mobile device now. Right, this is my mobile device now. You can see the mirror casting when I do the changes or when I doing the actions on my mobile device. So to enable the developer mode, go to the settings and about phone and enable the developer mode by pressing on this version. So I'm using the Redmi phone, so these locations are differed with your mobile brand, and try to find the developer option, which is this one. And now you can see the developer option is enabled, and go down to enable the USB debugging also. Right, enable the USB debugging, and it will show you a warning message. Just accept it, and now your mobile device is connected with your laptop. Now just type the same command again, and now you can see the device ID. So this is my device name. Just copy that name and paste it here. Right, after that you need to give app capability as a file path. So now you need to give the file path of your APK file which you are going to test. Right, so in my case I'm going to test this APK file, which is wdio app.apk. So now the file path is taken automatically, and then in the right side also you can see the JSON output also created for you. Just save it and go to the saved capabilities which you are saved just now, and select it and start the session. Right, now you can see my mirror casting. Mobile phone should launch my application automatically. Right, so this is my application I am going to automate now. Right, so this in my right side I have my mirror casting, and in my left side I have the Appium uh, uh, screenshot. Here the difference is when I change in the screen, or when I navigating through the application, you can see the changes changes happen in this mirror casting image, but in the Appium you cannot see that, because Appium only takes the screenshot of whatever the current loaded page. So if you need to take the screenshot of this screen or logging screen, what you need to do is go to the logging screen, and from this refresh icon, refresh your page again. Then it will capture the new page and display here. Right, so that is how you can spin up your Appium server and connect with your mobile device. So our next part is locate element type and write basic test case. Right, now first of all we will see how we can locate the element. But before that, let me show you the scenario I'm going to automate. So this is my initial loading page, which is the home page. And so my first step is click on the login button from the menu bar. And from the login page, I'm going to enter the email as test@gmail.com, and as the password test1234, and then I'm going to click login button. Once the login success, I can see this pop-up message saying that success, you are logged in. From here I'm going to press OK button. So that is my first test case, which is very basic one. And my second test case is go to the forms, and from there enter the input value as test WDIO or whatever, and verify that the below text field also displaying the same input value I entered here, right? And I'm going to validate that appeared message or appeared string with the given string value. And after that, from the this switch toggle, I'm going to change the toggle, and from the drop down option I'm going to click on this drop down and select the third option, which is Appium is awesome. And from the button section I'm going to click on this active button, and once I click on that, I will get this kind of pop-up that says this button is active. And from here I am going to cancel the pop-up, not accept the pop-up. Right, so that is my two test cases. So now let's see how we can locate our element for this two test cases. Right, so my first test case is go to logging as a test@gmail user. So to do that, I need to go to the login screen. So my first action is click on login button. Right now, well, let's see how we can locate the login menu. Just click on this select element button and hover the mouse over the element you need to locate the ID. And once you click on that element, it will show you the XPath. Right, so that is my locator XPath, which gives from the Appium, and there are a couple of attributes related to that element. So you can use this attribute when you need during the test cases. Like if it is a checkbox, then that checkbox related properties are available whether it is selected or not, likewise. Right, I will keep this XPath in the notepad. menu login. Then now once I clicked on the login button, then I should navigate to the login page, right? So now in my physical device, now I'm in the login page, but to get that current screen to appear, I need to refresh the page, and it will take few seconds to take the screenshot and display here. Right, now the login page is captured. So now you need to locate the email field locator. You can do the same thing, hover the mouse over the email text field and click on that. Then you can see the suggested XPath for the email field. I'll keep that as well. And also you can see the accessibility ID also here for the email field. I'll keep that one as well to capture or locate the element. So I have two options. I can either go with the XPath or else accessibility ID. And then I need to capture the locator for the password field. This is my path for XPath for the password. And there also I have accessibility ID. Keep that on as well. And then I need to click on the login button. Hover the mouse over the login button and click on there. So here you only have the XPath option, you don't have the accessibility ID. I'll go with the XPath here now. Right. Now once you enter the username and password, test@gmail.com, test1234, you will get this kind of pop-up, right? So now I need to get this pop-up and get this pop-up text and accept this pop-up by clicking on OK button. So now the first test case is completed. So let's see how we can script that first test case. Right. To start the script, I need to create a test spec file. To create new spec file, click on this new file icon and add test spec.js file. Right. So to save times, I have already created two test cases. I'll just take them here and right. So this is my specification file which I was created just now, and inside this specification file you have two sections. The first part is for import the assertion and the second part is your describe block. So in this describe block is nothing but this is a container where you can place your test cases. So we can arrange our test case in a nice way when you come into the spec file. So inside the describe block there are two it blocks this it blocks represent a test case, right? So here I have two test case. First one is for the login and the second one is for the form fill in the second test case I showed you. Right, let's see our first test case now. Here I have my test suite name as WDIO app test suite, and my first test case name is test case name colon test tc underscore login. Right. So now if you guys can remember the Selenium code, to locate the element you need to type driver dot find element by dot xpath. If you are using xpath, then xpath, and inside the quotes you need to provide the xpath. But in WDIO or WebdriverIO, IO, we are using only this $sign. That $sign represent whole this part, right? Whole this part. And what you need to do is to locate the element, just type the $sign, and within the bracket you can pass the XPath, right? Or accessibility ID or whatever the locator, right? In my test case, in this case, first of all, I'm going to click on this login button. So this login button XPath is this one. I can copy that one and paste it here. Right, now I located my element for the login menu, and what I'm going to do is click the action, perform the click action on that element. Right, so once I clicked on that element, I will come to the login page. After that, what I need to do is locate this email field. To do that, I'm using the accessibility ID, which we taken from here, and to indicate that as the accessibility ID, I'm using this tilde sign, like similar Panua sign or something, tilde sign, and after that you can give the accessibility ID. So this / indicate that it is a XPath, and this tilde sign indicate that it is a accessibility ID. Right, once we locate the email field, now we are going to set value to that email field. This set value is similar to the send keys in the Selenium. Right, so now I'm going to type this test@gmail.com like this, and now I need to locate the password field using the accessibility ID. This is the accessibility locator for the password field, and I'm going to send the word test1234 as my password. After that, I need to locate login button. This is the locator for my login button, and I'm going to perform click action on that locator. And once I clicked on the login button, then this pop-up will appear and I can see the success message. So here what I'm going to do is driver.getAlertText text will return this success message, which is success, you are logged in message. So I'm going to assign that value to my variable, which is alert text, and using this console.log command, I am going to print that message in my console command line or the console. After printing that, I am going to accept that alert using this method, which is driver.acceptAlert. So in this case, I don't need to provide the OK button locator or the XPath, because this driver.acceptAlert method can detect this pop-up, and it can detect this OK button to accept the pop-up. Right, now my first test case is now completed. So likewise, in the second test case, I am going to navigate to the forms and enter some value here and verify that in the second text field the same value should be appeared. So I'm going to assert that the same value is appeared. So this is my form menu click action. That means this button, and after that I need to locate the text field and enter the value WDIO sample test in this field, and I need to validate the same messages appear here in this field as well. To do that, I need to locate this field using the accessibility ID, and then get text will return the text inside the inside the text field, and I'm going to assign that returning value into a variable, and I'm going to validate that returning value is match with my given value. So here I'm doing the assertion part. To do that, I can use the method assert.equal. Here you can see the equal method is cut because that method is now deprecated. So instead of that method, you can use the suggested method, which is strict equal. So I will use that one, strict equal. Right. After that, you are going to locate the toggle button, which is this button, and then click on it. And after that, you are going to select the drop down, which is this one, and select the appear is awesome, the second option in the drop down. This is the second option locator, and click on it. And after that, I'm going to click on this active button. This is the locator for the active button, and click on the active button. And after that, I will get the same kind of pop-up like this. And from this pop-up, again I'm going to get the pop-up text and assign into a variable, print the variable value in the console, and here I'm going to dismiss the alert. Previously I accept the alert, now I'm going to dismiss the alert. That means I'm going to click on this cancel button. So I don't need to provide XPath or the locator or accessibility or whatever the IDs to locate this element. This method can identify that cancellation and accept action. Right. So yes, now we know how we can write the basic test cases and how to locate the elements. Now we need to integrate our test cases or the project with the device farm. So these are the well-known or well-established device farm available in the market: Browser Stack, Source Labs, and AWS. So in today's session, we are integrate this project with the Browser Stack. To do that, you need to create a Browser Stack account. So go to the Browser Stack, and you can create a free account which has 100 minutes free with limited devices. So I will log into my Browser Stack account I created before. Right, and go to Appium Automate option or the menu. Right, from here, click on dashboard. I will delete this build. I don't need that one because that is for the previously executed build. Right, you will land this kind of dashboard. So now we are going to use the Appium. So that click on the Appium, and we are use node. So go to the node section, and here you can see some configuration. So you can see the available platforms here, and you can see the available devices in the for your account. So here I'm using the free version, so that I have only 2 devices available. Others are disabled for me. But right, so now we are going to integrate this browser stack to my project. To integrate the browser stack to my project, I need to provide these two parameters, which is access keys as username as this one and the access key as this one. Right. So if you can remember the WDIO config file, I mentioned you that we can customize after the creation of this file. So now we are going to do the customization. So since we are going to run this on the browser stack, I'm going to comment this part. We are not going to run on local. And here capabilities, I'm going to comment this part, because now we are going to provide a different set of capabilities that match with the browser stack. So similar like in the Appium, you can, if you can remember, Appium also we provided some capabilities to connect with my mobile device. Like here you can see there are a few capabilities provided. Likewise, similar in browser stack, we need to provide the capabilities. So I'm going to use this set of capabilities. Right. So this is my access key, username and the key, which I can take from here. This is my username. Copy it and paste it here as the key. I can take this access key, copy it and paste it here. Right, now the capabilities. So this name is for your session name. You can have any name. So I will give my same name for the mobile application. So select whatever the platform you want to run, and once you select the platform, it will update the this capabilities section automatically. So I'm going to run on Android and run on Samsung Galaxy S10e. So I can copy this value and paste it here as the session name. You can have your own one, but here in my case I am using the same one. And build, you can give the build version of your mobile application you are going to run, and or else you can give any name. After that you need to provide the project name. So I'm using the WDIO term for my project name. You can use whatever the project name, and as the device, I can get the device, the same device from here, copy and paste that name here. And as the app, I need to provide the my uploaded APK file, because browser stack cannot run without our APK file, right? So we need to provide our APK file to execute in their environment or in the cloud. So to do that, to upload our file, we can use curl command. So to get the curl command, just go to this section using a node testing framework. Check out our full documentation for testing with WebdriverIO. IO. Go to that location or the link, and from this page you can select define custom ID page, and here you can see the curl command for the file upload. Copy that method, and there are a few things to customize. So you can use the same this is your access key, which you can see here as well. That will automatically filled for you, and you are using the post method. This is your endpoint, file upload endpoint, and this is the file path for your APK file, which is available in your local machine. So now you need to give the file path of your local machine. So in my case, this is my APK file and this is my file path. copy and paste the file path and give your APK file name. Right. After that, you need to provide the custom ID. So this custom ID you provided here can use here as app, right? So these two parameters should be same. So I will give the WDIO Android parameter this, and finally what you need to do is remove this unwanted space. Right. Copy that command and go to your bash terminal and paste it here. And now it will start the uploading. You can see the progress of the upload. Let's wait a few seconds until it get updated, uploaded. Right, no errors. Now my APK file is available in the browser stack. Now what you need to do is there are few other configure. Here also I need to mention this the APM version also. In my case it is 1.15.0, and here browser stack.video is true because in browser stack these test cases are going to execute in headless mode, so that you cannot see the screen view. But after the execution, if you give this option as true, then browser stack will save a video for you, and through that video you can see what happened during the execution. Right. If you mark this as false, then that video also won't be available for you after the execution. Right. After that, there are some other configuration you need to comment. Services and the local URL, and as the after test suite I will give this configuration. Here what I'm going to do is after each and every test case I'm going to reset my driver, right? That's all. And after that I need to use this command. I will add it to here. So because I'm using the APM command, so that I add this configuration. Here I can specify my test suites instead of this spec configuration, comment on it and give the test suites. Here the difference is in my spec section I can only mention, I'll uncomment this for now. In my spec section I can only give the multiple spec files like this, right? But in my suite configuration I can have multiple spec files, and inside the spec file I can have multiple, sorry, I can inside the suite I can have multiple suites, and inside the suite section I can have multiple spec files like this, right? So like this, right? So here I don't have that capability, which is maintaining multiple spec files. So I can give the different names like this and run whatever the suits I need to run. Right, so in my case, I'm going to have only one suit. Right, so yes, that's all you need to do the changes as the changes. Right, I think now we can run our spec file. Right, to run the spec file, what you need to do is type npx and wdio run, give your config file name, which is wdio.conf.js, and minus minus suit, and now you can specify the suit name which I was provided here. This is my suit name. Right, now press enter. So now you can see the session is started, and through the browser stack you should be able to see the instance created for your execution. Yes, last updated a few seconds ago. Now my instance is up. This is my device, Samsung Galaxy S10e, and go inside. You can see the execution steps as well. Yes, the execution is started. Now see that you cannot see any live casting because this is run on headless mode. After the execution, the video file will be available for you to do the verification, or like for you to make sure that everything went well. Right, the execution is now end. Session is stopped. Now the video is loading. Yes, now it is available for me to play. Right, now let's see what happened there. Yes, it's launched my application, and go to the login page, enter the email address, password, and click on login button and get the success message, and go to the second test case execution. From the forms, input the input field value and toggle the switch button. Select the appium is awesome option, and from the button section click on the active button and get the pop-up and dismiss it. Yes, so yes, now you can see the output also in the console line as well. The one passed total 100% completed within 1 minute and 80 seconds. So yes, now let's come back to the presentation. So now we see that how we can integrate our browser stack with our project. So to continue the session, and I invite Mahisha. So she will explain how we can customize our framework and how we can integrate our reporting in down the line. Mahisha, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Janak. So let me share my screen.
Sure.
Yeah, hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Now, when we are talking about a customized automation framework, we can focus on different kind of frameworks such as data-driven, test-driven, and behavior-driven. But today, let's see how we can implement a hybrid framework, including the test-driven and the data-driven. So, we have the main components in our framework. So let's go one by one. Our first component is command repository. where we can hide the code complexity as well as we can maintain wrapped commands. The main importance of wrapping commands are we can customize our reports in step level or user action level, and we can have timeouts, pauses in the wrapped commands itself. So no need to go to the test case level to handle loading issues of the application. And next we have object repository. Here we can maintain elements along with the XPath or CSS paths, whatever the attributes, we can identify the elements. And then we have a business component to maintain reusable functions, for example, login and logout functions. So rather than writing the same code in each and every test case, what we can do is having one function or a method in the reusable JavaScript file, and we can call that function in the test cases. It's really easy to maintain. And next we have test suites where we are maintaining our test cases. So in one test suite file, we can have multiple number of test cases. Finally, we have the data file. So we don't have to hardcode test data in the test cases. Best practice is to parameterize them in the test cases and pass the data through a data file. By doing that, we can convert our test cases into the data-driven test cases. So I will explain a simple flow to get a high-level understanding of how this is gonna work. So in my test suite, I have two test cases, TC1 and TC2. So in TC1, I have called RC login. RC stands for reusable component. And then again, I have RC logout. So RC login is implemented in the business component file. And in my RC login method, I have called tap command, and I have passed PG login button sign in. This PG login means the object repository name. Simply we can call it the page name, and the button name, button sign in. And then this tap command is found in our command repository. So here we have a separate method to get the element XPath or CSS path. So in reusable component, we are passing our page name and button name. So in command repository, it refers page name and get the XPath, whatever the XPath for that specific element, and perform the WebDriver IO user action. So let's go to our framework. Here you can see the main components of our framework. So this is node modules, and we have our first component, object repository. So I have two JS files for my object repository. So I have PG form and PG login. So in this framework also, we are gonna execute the same test scenarios which were explained by the Chanaka. So in my page login, I have a menu login, TF email, TF password button, button login. And in menu login, I have iOS path and Android path. So the main advantage of having a framework is now when it comes to mobile application, we have to execute our applications in both different platforms like iOS and Android. So we can handle both scripts in both test cases in one script by doing something like this. And then we have reusable components. So there also I have two reusable components, RC login. And in RC login, I'll explain what are the libraries I have imported here. So I have imported PG login for this RC login JS file, and I have imported my command repository. I'll come back to that. And then I have imported alloy report and then assert. Yes, so I have two reusable components. One is login to the application and one is verify the alert. So login to the application is there I have parameterized email and the password. So those values have been passing through the test case itself. And then here you can see the set of commands I have performed to log into the application. Now I'll show you how to do this. You have to simply call cmd, and then whatever the command you want to perform. So I'm calling the tab command, which similar to the click command, and then I'm calling my page name pg login, and then the element name. So it's really simple. And then I have test suits here. Um, in my test suite folder, this is my test case. So here also I have imported reusable component login, and then reusable component form, and my data file. So I'll come back to that again later. So as Chanaka mentioned, we have two test cases: log into the application and fill the form. So in my, so these commented codes for the reporting purposes, so that will be explaining later. And so in my first test case, I have called only two reusable components, log into the application, and there I have hard coded my test email and the password, and then the uh, alert text. And the same thing happens to the fill the form. For the fill form, I have passed some data which need to do the use actions. All right, and then we have utils. So when I expand util file, you can see command repository. There we have so many wrapped commands. So the tab and type, scroll to, we can implement any of the commands which we need to use. And so here you can see whatever the WebdriverIO command. So the first lines for the reporting purposes, and here also for the type command, this is the actual WebdriverIO command, set value. And then we have conf file. So Chanaka mentioned that we need to execute our test cases, we need a WDIO conf file. So we can have multiple conf files here. So I have one is for my Android device. So here you can see I need to give some capabilities for the device, the browser stack capabilities, browser stack user, and the key likewise. And for those things, I'm not going to hard code my values in the WDIO conf file itself. So instead of that, I have parameterized them, and I have maintained in a separate conf file for passing the values. So if I want to change the device, I just have to copy device name and paste it here. So no need to go back to the WDIO conf file again and again. And again, we have data file. So we will come back to this. This is for the data-driven purposes. Yes, so let me execute one test case and show you how it's gonna work. So as Chanaka mentioned, this is my WDIO conf.js file. And let's go to the WebDriver browser stack and see whether the session has been started. Yes, the session has been started for the current execution, and the execution has not yet been started. Yes, you can see whatever the results here. Yes, execution is done. So result is passed. Yeah, now let's assume we have to execute the first test case with different test data, different username, different email, and different password. So what are we going to do? Are we going to copy paste the same test case and change the values. No, that's not the best practice. So to do that, we need to convert this to a data-driven file. So in order to do that, go to the data file, and here I have an array object for my first test case, login tc1. And what I'm going to do is I'm uncommenting this. So by doing that, the test case will be executing 2 times. My first test case is tc1 login to the application, and the second one is tc3 login to the application, because we already have the second test case here, tc2 here. So I'm going to give this name as tc3. So if you want to execute another if you want to execute another execution with separate data, you can just copy paste the same thing and change the data. Yes, so then we have to go to our test case, and here what we have to do is we have to parameterize the test case. And before that, we need to import our data file, and then what we have to do is we have to put for each uh, for our test case. Like this, and then still these values are hard coded, so what you have to do is just parameterize them. tc name, and here input dot username, input dot password, um, yeah, what is the value? Alert text. Yes, I'm going to comment this test case by putting X mark here, so that test case is not going to execute. So I need to just to execute the first 2 test cases, which are tc1 login to the application and tc3. Yes, so let's try to execute test cases. Yeah, we'll go to our browser stack dashboard. Execution is started. Yes, so the test at gmail.com, the first test case is being executed. And then we have the second test case, sample at gmail.com. The execution is done. Right. And yes, now we have to think about how to do the report integration with our WebdriverIO IO framework. So there are several reporting tools can be integrated with the WebdriverIO IO, such as Allow Report, Dot Reporter, JUnit Reporter, Spec Reporter, etc. So if you go to their documentation, you can find more information there. Today we are going to integrate our framework with the Allow Report. So there is no big deal but to add some capabilities to the config file. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to execute this command. we have to install Alva command line to our project. So I'm not. So what you have to do is just copy the command and press enter. I'm not going to install this today because I have already installed it. And then what you have to do is go to your WDIO conf file, and you just have to give this set of capabilities. Uh, and when you go to the test case, so I have commented, uncommented this steps. So I'll explain what these steps doing when we open the report. Before the execution, I'm going to delete my existing Alva report folder, so you can have a great have an idea about how it's going to work. So we need to execute only 2 test cases. Okay, let's go to the dashboard and open up our session. Okay, now I have deleted my existing Alva report, but once I start the execution, that new Alva report folder has been created. And to open the Alva report, we need to use this command. So it will generate our Alva report. Yeah. So this is hosted in localhost. So once you click on the results, you can see the results of 2 test cases. So the second test case is we are not going, we haven't, we ignored that test case. So that is not executed. So when I click on the first test case, you can see the description is login to the application. So that is what we have given in the add description method, login to the application, and the severity is critical. So here also severity has been set to critical. And then you can see the device name and the platform version. Once you expand these steps, so these steps means the reusable components. So I'll go inside login to the application, and here also we have given login to the application some kind of a description for the uh, reusable components. So those descriptions have been visible in the first level. And when I expand those reusable component, there you can see set of commands I have performed inside that reusable component. So once we expand that command, you can see a descriptive detail under here. So action is tab, and the element, the page name, and the element name, and what is the export. So in type command also we have mentioned value as addition attribute. And the other thing is, so we cannot share this Alva report folder by zip it and emailing it by to another person. So in order to share our report, we have to host it in somewhere else. So for that we can use Netlify. So in Netlify, you can just drag and drop your report folder, and once you did that, you will get the URL like this. So when you click on that, you can see the Alva report as we get same as our same as we open in our command prompt. Yes, so by just copy paste by sharing this URL, you can share your file to anyone in your organization.
Right. So far, Mahisha, this is really cool. So we saw that how we can improve or how we can customize our test framework and how to integrate test, how to integrate report capabilities, right? So now one concern in my mind, which is now we are going to execute all the test case in the device farm, right? So we have to pay for this execution time in the device farm. So assume that you have 1 hour execution time test suite, and now you need to execute the same test suite in 5 different devices, right? That means altogether 5 hours. So do we have a way to do the functional testing on one device and go for a GUI level testing in other device with less time, so that we can save the time, execution time, as well as we can make the we can increase our efficiency as well? Do we have a option to do that?
Yes, Janaka. So exactly, we have option for that. So in terms of mobile automation, what we are normally doing is we have our regression suite, and we are executing those that suite in several kind of devices. So by doing that, we that increases our execution time, and that we cannot sure that the UI is have been tested. So for that, we have tool called ApplyTools. So ApplyTool is an AI-powered visual testing and monitoring platform that can identify text color changes, font type changes, size changes, background color changes, icon changes. So basically, as they said, it can identify anything that might be noticeable to a human eye. So let's see how we can integrate it with our framework. So first of all, you need to have a ApplyTool account, and then what you have to do is here in our conf file, we need to under services we need to give this set of capabilities. So for the key, you can find it by click on my API key. So just copy it and paste here. And in the test case level, so I didn't use any ApplyTool commands in the test case, but I have used them in my reusable components. So when I go inside my reusable components, I am uncommenting that. So this is the command which I used to use when if I want to integrate, if I want to do the image comparison with the apply tools. So yeah, let's execute the test case. So I'm going to comment the second test case. So while the execution, I'll explain how this is gonna work. So the very first execution, it will take only one snapshot, one screenshot, and here you can see there is no baseline image. So the very first execution, it's capture the screenshot and it saved it as the baseline. And the second execution only, it compares with the baseline and the checkpoint image. So yeah, so you can see there are some warnings and errors, so you can ignore them. At the end of the execution, we can see what is the status of the apply tool execution. Yes, so in red color you can see the error. that says TC1 detected differences. So this is a error of the apply tools, not the functional error, feature error. So the features, all the features have been tested and the features are passed. So let's go to the apply tool and see what happened. Yes, so we can see another session has been created, and here you can see the baseline and the checkpoint image, and they have highlighted the changes with the pink color, and the changes are for the time change and the Wi-Fi coverage, those kind of things. Actually, in application that mobile automation, so we can ignore these kind of changes like device specific changes, so there are no issues with the application. So in that scenario, what we can do is we can ignore the area which we don't need to test. So we can mark that area, and I'm going to mark the bottom area too. Yes, and close this and save it. Again, we'll execute our test case and see what's happened now. Yes, let's go to the browser stack and open up the session, current session. Yes, so we cannot see any errors here. Let's go to the apply tools and see how it works. So the execution is passed, and once I click on the result, you can see that the selected areas have been there, and there is no the changes within the application.
Right, right, cool. So this is really important, Mahisha. Thank you for that. And Mahisha, since you have some experience in WebDriver IO since last few years, can you educate the audience with the pros and cons of the WebDriver IO tool?
Yes. So when it comes to the pros and cons of the WebDriver IO, the first of all, I would say it's a free and open source tool, and we have a good community support. And the cool feature is it support mobile and web automation together. So in Selenium, it support web automation only. In Appium, it support mobile automation only. So in WebDriver IO, we can do both in one framework, and easy to start and do the configurations. So as you saw, we have integrated our automation framework with the Alva report and browser stack, and again with the apply tools. So it's really easy to configure those with the WebDriver IO, and we can again compatible, it's compatible with the third-party tools such as different kind of tool integration things. And when it comes to the cons, it's evolving tool, like they haven't implemented some of the commands. So if we need to use them, we have to implement them with ourselves. And it supports JavaScript and TypeScript only. And I would say that the API documentation is a little bit incomplete. So yeah, so those are the pros and cons of the WebdriverIO IO, Chanaka.
Right, cool. So with that, we are about to wind up the session, but before that, we will go through the recap quickly. So we learned what is the specialty and what is WebDriver IO, and after that we configured our test environment and we did a test execution, and after that we create our customized framework and we integrate our report into that, and we saw that how we can do the GUI testing with the WebDriver IO plus browser stack plus apply tools. Right, so that is about the session, guys. So if you guys have any questions, you can raise them up, and I can see that there are a couple of questions raised. uh, I will select the first question, which is quite important. How we can manage versioning in the repository, object repository, because if you have two applications, one is under development and the newer version is available, so we should have a way to manage both locators or old locators and new locators. Mahisha, do you have any idea, or else I can give a answer?
Um, yeah, go ahead, Chanaka.
Right. So in this case, this is actually a rare situation, but of course we can have that kind of situation in real world, real execution world. Uh, so one thing uh, came into my mind is we can parameterize this in CI/CD pipeline. So we can mention the application we are going to test is the one is under application under testing, or is the one the latest version, so that we can take that parameter which we are passing from the pipeline into our code line, and we can check that parameter, and based on that we can read our object repository file. So that is one approach we can do. Mahisha, if you have any another approach, you can add.
Yeah, actually, we can handle this that in with our framework too. So here also we can add so many variables under here. So if you want to handle two versionings, so we can do something like iOS the version 10 point yeah 1, and we can do something like this, and in our command repository we can handle that as well.
Right, cool. So I hope you got the answer. And after that, there are one other question, which is uh, so I gave short answers for some questions, and the one answer is there a way to configure the framework to rerun the failed test cases? Mahisha?
Sorry, Janaka.
uh, the audience, one question asked whether we have a way to configure the framework to rerun the failed test case, like in the
Actually,
first run. Yes,
yeah,
like
in WebdriverIO, I couldn't see any possibility to do that. So we can simply do something like this. So if we are like if we know whether that uh, if it is there, if there are any possibility to fail any test cases, so we can have another test suite mentioning those test file spec files, and once the execution is done we can set up to execute that test suite. And other than that, I couldn't see any possibility to rerun the failed test cases.
yes, but here let me share my experience with Protractor tool, because Protractor and WebDriver IO both working with npm module dependencies. So there was a dependency which I was used. I don't remember the exact name, but there is a npm dependency where we can identify the failed test case in the same build and rerun those in the same build itself. So but in some situations, like if you are going with the data driven approach, in the first run there our test data will change, right? So in the second test run we perform the test over the change test data, so that rerun test case may cause to fail due to the data unavailability. So that kind of problem can be occurred, but of course there is a npm dependency, we can do that thing. You can try out it, Lasita. Right. And another question, we can use Appium to automate web application as well, right? Yes, we can use it. Right. I think that's all the questions from the audience. So I think we are good to wind up the session. We will share these slides and the code with you guys soon after the session. If you guys have any other questions, you can raise them. If not, Chatura, over to you.
Yeah, is there any other questions? Seems to be everything is okay. There are no any questions from the audience. So thank you very much, Chanaka and Mahesha, for a well-structured and well-detailed session just in 90 minutes. I hope you all learned something new today. And please apply this WebDriver IO to your project. Then you will be getting more and more hands-on experience with WebDriver IO, and that will be a definitely plus point for your software engineering career. And the good news is all these materials and documents will be shared with you. And next thing is the feedback. There will be a link for you to give us a feedback on today's session, which will really helpful for the speakers as well as the organizing committee. So please take 2 or 3 minutes from your valuable time to fill the form, and the link will be shared with you soon. And again, thank you very much, Chanaka and Mahesha. And also the participants, thanks a lot for participating in this event. There will be more sessions on test automation and related areas organized from SLASCOM. So just keep in touch with SLASCOM Quality Forum, and see you all in another session, and good night.
Good night, guys. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.